If you're wanting to test for total alkalinity but you don't have a photometer that's able to do it, you can actually test for total alkalinity with all you need is a shaker bottle and some tablets, some specific tablets. They look like that. They're not the same ones that you get that you would use for a photometer. It's important to stress that. So if you're going to be using the shaker bottle method and you're ordering some tablets, make sure that you specify that you want some total alkalinity tablets for the shaker bottle method. And what you do is you get a 100 ml sample of pool water, and into that you add just one tablet. And it's important that you don't tip out from the bottle directly into the sample, because you have to keep account of how many tablets you're going to be using on this test. So what I always do is tap out into the lid, just so, because inevitably a whole bunch will come out in one go. See, 2 have come out there, and I only want to add 1. And as with all these tests, don't touch the tablets with your fingers. So put a tablet in there, get the lid back on, and basically give it a shake and observe the colour that it goes. It's kind of not really much of a colour at all. It's yellowish. So that's on one tablet. Carry on going, adding tablet after tablet until a colour change occurs. That's tablet number 2 going in there now. Put the lid back on, give it a shake. Observe the colour, it's still yellow. Keep going. This is tablet number 3. Come on. 3rd one in. Give it a shake. Now you might see that it's still looking yellowish, but I think on the next one there'll be a colour change. What we're looking for is a colour, a bright red sort of colour. So this is number 4 going in now. There we go. Now that was a very definite change of colour from the yellow colour to a kind of a, well, bright pink I would call that, rather than bright red. But that's the colour change that we're looking for. Now it took 4 tablets to bring about that colour change. And what you need to do is, there's a bit of a formula to apply to this. If you're using a 100 ml sample, it's the number of tablets multiplied by 20 and then minus 10. So 4 tablets multiplied by 20 equals 80, minus 10 is 70. So the total alkalinity level in that sample of water is therefore 70 parts per million. Now what you want to do is keep the total alkalinity in your pool somewhere between 80 and 200. So that would be a little bit low. What might happen with total alkalinity, there's 2 main reasons to keep your total alkalinity levels at least above 80, and that is because if you're using coagulants, they need to work well. The coagulants like polyaluminium chloride, for example, need the total alkalinity to be at least 80 parts per million for the coagulant chemical to function as it should. So that's one good reason. Another one is that it has an effect on your pH, in that it makes having a decent amount of total alkalinity, makes the pH level more stable. It's referred to as a pH buffer. So what could happen with low total alkalinity, you might experience problems with fluctuating pH levels. You don't want too much though, too much total alkalinity, because you can get the opposite problem then, which is, it's called pH lock, where you can't seem to shift the pH no matter what you do. That's when you might experience that when the total alkalinity level goes above 200. But when if you've got the total alkalinity level below 80, i.e. it's too low, you might experience pH bounce, which is the pH level fluctuating. In order to increase the levels of total alkalinity, the chemical that's used is sodium bicarbonate, because that you can put that in the pool and it will increase the levels of total alkalinity without having too much of a direct effect on the pH. You could add sodium carbonate, which would also increase the levels of total alkalinity, but it would also boost the pH level, and you might not want to do that. So the advantage with sodium bicarbonate as opposed to sodium carbonate is that it will increase total alkalinity without having too much of an undue effect on the pH. The dose rate is about 1.7 kilograms per 50 cubic meter volume of pool water, and that will boost the total alkalinity level by 20 parts per million. So obviously, if that would be okay for this sample, because if we were to put a kilogram, 1.7 kilograms of sodium bicarbonate per 50 cubic meter of pool volume, then that would boost it from 70 to 90, which would be okay. But obviously, if you're very low on total alkalinity, it's very heavily influenced by the area of the country you're living in and your source water. If you're very low on total alkalinity, you might need to boost it significantly more than that. If you're too high with total alkalinity, you want to get the total alkalinity down, then probably the best way to do that is via dilution with fresh water.